Hi everyone. Today we have a great case related to a SQL. So we try to imagine today we are designing for high availability solutions for a SQL database that will be migrated to Azure. And also if we try to migrate, maybe you have main landing zone and maybe you have a secondary landing zone as DR. So you are evaluating with your customers whether you needed to implement geo-replications, geo-replication, or failover group. So which one you have to choose and which option. So I give you today a good case to try to understand when we try to migrate you the SQL database, and we try to figure out the high availability with your customers, and you have to choose between two things. The first one will be a geo replications. Second one, failover group. So we have a great topic today. Let's go to my screen. I will try to figure out all steps in architecture level and try to explain in every case when we have to go with the geo replications, and if you have another case with a failover group. So it depends of case and depends of customer scenario. So let's go together to my screen. I will try to explain this point. So let's go to our board, which what I like. So first one, as we imagine, we have a migrations plan and we gonna build the first landing zone here. Okay, then also we have secondary landing zone here. We will for secondary site. Then we have here actually it's this just we focus here the availability for a SQL between a failover group or geo replication. So we will not mention the highlight for a network storage and how we can building the landing zone. Actually I explained that for one of videos in my channel. You can check it for how to build the landing zone. So today just we focus on the comparison between failover group and geo replication, and with best options for best requirement of customers, and we work with customer in discovery phase, what is good option for him and based on his requirement. So here we have traffic managers, and also I have a video to differentiate between traffic manager and Azure front door. So today we're using the traffic managers for the primary site. Okay, then and this at secondary site, this will be like that. So here we have a SQL. So sorry, let's see, we have SQL. Okay, and also we have a SQL here. Okay, then now we try to figure out which option we have to go. We have to go with which we have to go with failover group, or we shall to go with geo replications. Okay, here will be SQL. Okay, and also here SQL. So the high availability for HA for SQL. So let's talk about the failover group. So you would choose failover grouping for high availability in Azure with your customer if it's require automatic failover within a single region for your SQL database. So believe me, the secret here will be here for failover group, okay, and geo replications. So here we'll talk about single regions. Okay, I will back this one. There will be multiple regions. So again, you can choose failover group for high availability with your customer if it's require failover automatic failover within a single region for your SQL database. And because failover group are designed for automatic failover within a single regions, in the event maybe unexpected disruptions such as hardware failures or network outage. So maybe you can choose this is kind of failovers for high availability with your customer after you understand what is requirement. For example, we have a case here for, as we mentioned, we have on-premise here, and we try to migrate the SQL database. So in this time, if we need to host database, SQL database on Azure managed instance in here in SQL here, SQL managed instance. So in these times, for high availability, we can use failover group. Okay, so if it's required automatic failover with a single regions, again, we can using the failover group. So let's go with the geo-replications here. Let's give this one, geo-replications. Actually, the secret word actually mentioned for a single regions or multiple regions. So you can choose geo-replications, this one, for high availability with your customer if you need to able to failover database to a secondary site or secondary regions. So this primary, this secondary, we can use it for if you need to failover to secondary regions. So because geo-replications actually provide the disaster recovery capability by allowing you to replicate data to secondary site or secondary regions where it can be failed over in event for unexpected distributions such as naturals, maybe naturals, disaster or regional outage. So if we just need to understand here, to recap, if we talk with customer and the customer, you need to migrate the SQL, and we need to make sure this the SQL database will be available. So we have two options here. First one will be you have failover group or we have geo-replications. So the based on the scenario with the customer, you have to decide which route you have to go. First one, if you looking for a single, if you have here, if you this failover group, if you looking for a single regions, this one you have to go with the failover group. So if we are looking for a multiple regions, in this time you have to go with geo-replications. Okay, there is another dependency we can talk, but this is the first one we can talk. Then let's I bring here this screen will be more here. As we mentioned, we have traffic manager, we have a SQL, we have a read and write, and here let's just zoom in, maybe not coming. Okay, so as you see in the screen, geo-replications and the failover group are two different solutions for achieving high availability and this recovery in SQL database with your customer. So first one, for a failover group, let's tell you again, failover group are designed for automatic failover with a single region, as I mentioned, if you have maybe hardware failures or network outage. So another case, it will be also a good point to define the differentiate between failover group or geo-replications for a secondary, in the secondary here, for this is the secondary one, okay? In the secondary database in failover is not readable. Here, if you gonna use failover group, okay, the secondary database in failover group is not readable. Okay, so it can't use it for read only access. It can't use it for read only access. Okay. Um, for failover groups, this one for failover groups are designed also to use it as single regions, as we mentioned. So for failover group, we have something it's called RTO. If you design it before secondary or disaster recovery, you maybe you heard about this one. So failover group are designed for using with a single region. As we mentioned, it can be provide a shorter recovery time or recovery time objects. So we have here shorter for RTO if we compare it for geo-replication. So if we talk about RTO, as we have to talk about the customer and you have to understand the point when we're planning for disaster recovery. So you have to tell the customers, okay, the failover group is related to RTO. We have a shorter recovery time object related to failover group. So let's go with geo-replication to understand more. So geo-replications, let's take, I can make here another color. I don't know. I think, okay, it's back here. No. Okay. So if we talk about geo-replications, okay, geo-replications provide disaster recovery capability by replicating data to secondary regions, or replicating the data to secondary region where it can be failed over for unexpected disruptions such as naturals, as we mentioned, or maybe regional outage. But what is mean different here? Also, we have to point. First one, as we compare it, geo-replications for a second database is readable. So here, for geo replications, okay, for a secondary replication, it's readable. So the differentiate here will be, do you have in secondary regions the database will not be readable and here will be readable. Okay, so if you have a readable database, which means you will be have allowing read-only access for data in case you have disaster recovery in our options. Okay, another thing, maybe we are talking for RTO. Geo-replications also, it's have good options for is designed for across multiple regions. As we mentioned, the differentiate between failover and geo-replication, it will be for a single or multiple. So geo-replication, it can be provided a longer recovery time object RTO if we compare it for failover. So here for RTO, you have to talk with customer. If you go with failover, it will be shorter RTO, and if we go with geo-replications, it will be longer for geo-replications. So I think it will be clear more if we talk about the data flow. So for the data flow, let's go